Hey everyone, it's Wolfrun here, and I'm going to bring you a video on strip mining. This is following on from my other videos on mining, and this is the natural progression for any miner who has been doing things going up into Venture 3, fully kitted out. Once you hit text level 7, you can get your strip mining vessel, the Retriever. Mine's here cloaked, so I'll just jump through the gate. And before I talk about the Retriever and strip mining in general, which I think, in my view, is the best way to mine consistently and make money, more money doing it than Venture 3. I think there's sometimes some debate about it. I don't think there really is, and I'll show you why. I'm going to show you some basics as to what to do with the Retriever. Now, I'm obviously not going to tell you where I am, because that's a matter for me where I mine. I mine in nullsec for the best money. Do so at your own risk. These are expensive ships, very expensive when kitted out, but they will give you the best money. So I'm in a minus 0.6 nullsec, so I should get some decent stuff. I'm going to mine, doesn't really matter in my view. Some people prefer clusters, some people prefer belts. I'm going to go to a belt. I'm going to warp to 0 because I've already checked and I know I'm safe in here at the moment because there's no one in local. Even cloaked ships show up in local, so you know that if someone is not part of my alliance, in my alliance controlled space, I would not be warping to 0. I may not even be hanging out here at all. So if you're going to warp to 0 and you know it's safe, that's absolutely fine. If it's not safe, then you might want to warp further out. You may not want to mine there at all. So if you're in low sec or null sec, making sure you're safe in the Retriever is one of the key aspects of the whole thing, because it is expensive and it is a very slow lumbering beast. So we're in Venture 3, I think, probably mining. It doesn't really matter to me. Here are all the various ores, the best ones at the moment, and the beauty of strip mining is I don't need to target any of this stuff. I just want to avoid the Veldspar preferably. I'm probably not going to be able to. I can sit here, and what I'm going to do is turn on my strip miners. I have 2 of them, and it will start mining. Now, while it's doing that, I'm going to talk through it all. It takes me about 20 minutes at the moment to fill up my hold with ore before I make the trip back. And now I've just arrived, I've started mining. Now, one of the things I'm going to have to do is make sure I can get out quickly. So the first thing I'm going to do is set up my escape. I am going to make sure I set my autopilot. So that's my get the fuck out button. So that's the button I use to GTFO when I need to, and it also shows me the gate I want to align at in order to get out quickly. So the key is you need to align yourself. So click it, click approach, watch my Retriever turn. It's not too. And I'm just going to align to, and I'm going to stop. It's the first time I mined at Arcanor. And as you'll see, I am still in plenty of range. So I'm going to talk about ship fittings and then I'll talk about skills. Basically, you don't need to target anything in strip mining. I just set the ship up. I can either let it run like this and sit, and it will shoot everything in range. I have no control over what it takes, so it will take some Veldspar. I'll show you what I do with that in a moment. It'll take some of the lower stuff like Scordite and Veldspar I really don't want. You can position yourself better to avoid that stuff. I'm not too worried about it because there isn't tons of it here. I don't think I'm collecting tons of it. Let's just check. Hold. I've picked up a bit. I'll show you what I do. So, firstly, fittings. I will keep coming back to check on this occasionally. The Retriever is the first of the strip mining vessels. You can see them in the strip mining tree. Under ore, you'll have all seen the ventures. Got this side. There we go, Retriever. Here you get the strip miners. You get your warp stability, important in these ships. You get extra strip miner yield, some drone HP. Who cares? Because you're not going to use drones. they're not going to save you at all in any scenario, and you get extra ore hole capacity, which is fantastic. What you do get is a very slow flight velocity, decent defense, and you get an ore hold of 24,000 cubic meters. Bearing in mind the Venture 3 fully kitted out is 9,000 cubic meters, you can get a lot of ore into this vessel. Obviously, when we get into the later techs, we can get the Procurer, and then eventually in some many months' time, you'll be able to get the Coveter, which we'll all have, but that doesn't really matter right now. So we're using the Retriever. In terms of setup, there's quite a lot to it. As you'll see, I keep local open so I can keep an eye on who's here. If someone pops in who's neutral, I generally just disappear. Neutral or red, get out. There's no point hanging around to see if they're going to come for you. If it's one, I can withstand it. If it's multiple ones, I'm not even going to bother trying to figure out whether they're coming to get me. Better to be safe than sorry, because as I said, these ships are expensive. As you'll see, you're going to be looking at if you want to market. So at the moment, 95 million, let's say. Yeah, 95 million for a Retriever. That's a lot more than Adventure 3s, which are 10 million. So in terms of fittings, you've got a lot of choice. You've got 2 high slots, you've got 2 medium slots, and you've got 3 low slots. High slots, obviously, strip miners. You need 2 of them. I've got Mark 7s in. I recommend using the Mark 7s. You should be Tech 7 anyway. They're a little bit more expensive. They're not that much more expensive than Mark 5s, and they're going to yield more quickly. I don't have anything in my mid slots. You could put in something like Nosferatus, so if anyone got close, you can just start draining the cap to give you some more time. Not really that many options at the moment to put in there, so I don't put anything in there at all. Again, not got drone slots in at all. Now, in the low slots, it depends what you want. I may not be running the best setup for this. At the moment, I have 3 Aura warp core stabilizers. They give me cold -2, so I have -6 plus my roll bonus. I have -7 warp core stabilizer, which means that's a fair number of interruptives. That means someone needs to put a minimum of 4 interruptives on. When I activate them, I get a bonus another 6, so I sit at 13 warp core strength. That's definitely what you need. I'd recommend at least running 2 of them, and the alternative is you run 2 with a shield extender, a shield booster, or something that gives you time, because you need time to move the ship if someone attacks you. If someone comes to gank you in this ship, you need time. What you don't want to be doing is time to align to the gate to get out. Is time wasted, so make sure you're aligned. Now, some people will start belts, and there's no problem with this. They'll go start a belt, they'll go pick an asteroid back here, and then they'll set it to work its way forward through the belt at slow speed, and always pointing towards the gate, so you can get out as quickly as possible, and you can adjust your thrust like this. Okay, so that's thrust control if you never knew that. I've just activated, as you can see, because you have to get up to a minimum level of thrust. Check how I put myself out of range of many things. Okay. You can put yourself up to thrust to minimum speed to be able to warp. So if someone jumps in on you, you pop these and you go. That's what you do to get out to stay safe, because the cost of the ship alone is not the big thing. Strip miners, they're not expensive. Certainly not as expensive as the market estimate is. Yeah, so they're sitting at about 500,000 at the moment. You want 2 of those, definitely. These are expensive. At 8 million a piece. Well worth it. I'd say they're necessary on the ship. The other thing you'll need to very carefully consider when doing this is you'll need to make sure, not ship info, sorry, fittings is what we want to look at, is your rigs. At the moment I haven't put any low rigs on, but absolutely you could put on defensive rigs to increase your shield, increase resistances. Any of that's absolutely fine. I will, because I've spent my money on these rigs. Miner circulation is better than miner efficiency. Miner circulation means it takes less time for the miner to activate, as you can see in this circle here, and miner efficiency is per shot, effectively what you're getting. So I'll just turn that back on, sorry, turn it off. And as you see, my mining output with my rigs is 1459 cubic meters per cycle. Got 2 of those running, so it's 3000 per cycle, and activation time is 2 minutes. So I know I get just under 3000. What do I get? Sorry, yeah, 2900 cubic meters per 2 minutes, and so it takes me. I'll have to do some maths, but it takes me 10 minutes for me to start filling the hold. I think in total I'm under 20 minutes to get 100%. I'm sure someone can do the maths for me. I haven't actually bothered to do the maths. Effectively, as you can see, I'm at 55% having just started doing this video, and we can fill this all hold up quickly. So the rigs, and that's what we were talking about before I got distracted, are important. I have a miner circulation 1 rig, a miner circulation 2 rig, and a miner efficiency rig. They do have penalties if stacked, so certainly 2 rigs I think are worth it, and then 1 miner efficiency, which gives you 20% mining amount bonus, the miner efficiency one. If you don't have those yet, use the prototype rigs that you get out of the login rewards, because these are not cheap rigs. Miner efficiency 1, actually that's gone down in price, but that's not too bad. Yeah, so you might spend 4 or 5 million on that. These are the expensive ones at 23 million a piece, which is absolutely fine. Ideally you'd want the miner efficiency 2 rigs, which I don't actually know how much those are, which are substantially more, and at some point I will buy them once it's made enough. Now in terms of, that's certainly the fittings, as you can see that's part of the equation for making sure you do things efficiently and quickly, because the quicker you can do this, the more money you can make. Just check the down here. The other thing is what you need is skills. Now I've done a video on the reskilling. If you want to check it out, the link's here for my video on the recent ability to refresh your skills. I've done that on this alt, and his aim is industry. As part of that, I mine for myself as well as mining for my corp. I do a bit of both, because that's absolutely right. You've got to make sure you prioritise the corp and give stuff to it, because that's how you succeed as a group. Now, in terms of mining, I have ditched all of my mining skills in favour of strip mining, and I am 4-3 on strip mining, and it's a fair chunk to go up to 5-3. I will probably invest into that at some point soon, a little bit less for that, and what you basically get on yield. I don't really care about optimal range, because frankly you just put yourself in the middle of the field and you'll do it, and you get some capacitor bonuses, but frankly as well you're not at risk of running out of capacitor, except if you're warping long distances. If you're going multiple stargates, you'll find your capacitors run out quite quickly in these ships. So that's the skill in terms of strip mining. If you want, I don't have very many skills in. You have industrial ship command, which gives you bonuses, obviously, to the inertia modifier. That's very useful because that means you can turn your ship quicker. And you can have skills in industrial defense upgrade, which I don't have very many at all. But if you're doing mining more regularly than I am, I do here and there, then I certainly recommend, because you can really tank up these ships so you can withstand longer, which gives you more time to align and get out. So that's basically the ins and outs of strip mining. Not complicated, but it does mean you can make a lot more money than your Venture 3. There is some debate about it, because the argument being in the Venture 3 you can target the expensive ores. You can get in and check out what the expensive ores are, and only get those ones, whereas this one I will be picking up things like feldspar and scordite, which are not very expensive ores at all. Well, my resolution to that is this. Wait a couple of minutes and I'll eject it then. I have not lost a lot of capacity, it's throwing that out, and I'm going to continue collecting the more expensive ores. So I don't really see the problem. It might affect your efficiency slightly, but it's not a disaster. No, there we go. No, another couple of minutes. So I will jettison out the very cheap ores, because there is no point in me holding on to those. There is greater efficiency to be had from the higher ores, spodumene, everyone will know, hebdurite, jasper, which I think is the most expensive. Okay, I just wanted to cover one thing here. If you're jettisoning items, do not use a cloaking device, because as you can see, we jump here into somewhere, we know that the guy's there, he's cloaked, he's got a cargo container, so us as a group of Dramiels orbit the cargo container at different orbits, because as soon as we get within 2 kilometers the cloak shuts off, and so the cloaking device is only useful if you can guarantee that no one really knows where you are at all. They can't orbit an asteroid that you're near, they can't orbit your jettisoned container, they can't orbit something else. And as you'll quickly see, we all orbit here the container, different things, and there you go, cloak's deactivated. Lock him, and he's going to get finished off. There's no way he's going to survive the 3 of us. As you can see, even with 3 Dramiels, it takes a fair amount of time to whittle down a retriever. That's enough time if you haven't got all those warp points on him. As you can see, he didn't have enough warp anyway to get away from us. He really struggled anyway. Now, previously I've spoken about, and I use Scoundrel's spreadsheet. I'll link his channel below, and his video in respect of mining, which gives you loads of tips. And I use his spreadsheet, so I am going to show you these, which is helpful. So I've got my own copy downloaded. I have some extra bits in it which don't need to bother you. You can find these things from his YouTube and his Discord. I recommend you get it, it's very useful. So it sets out the amount you get per ore and what you're targeting. And actually these are all the data parts of the spreadsheet. What matters is down here. Put your skills of reprocessing in here. Helpfully it will tell you where to find various ores, and then it has this. This tells you the ores that, with my current reprocessing skills, it is worth reprocessing versus market value. So at the moment it is worth me reprocessing spod. It is not worth me reprocessing all of these ores. I am going to reprocess because I'm building stuff for myself. But if I was doing it as pure money, sell the ore, don't sell reprocessing, because it's not worth it. The other thing is it gives you ISK per square cubic meter, which is also useful. So you know when you look at here, actually the ore that's going to fill you the most is Bistot and Arcanor, which finally makes most sense. Crocite value has jumped up because people are after the Zydrine, which is going up rapidly in price, and Noxium's always been expensive, and I think it's retaining its price. And as you can see, spod has dropped back in price. JGeks does a very good analysis of the ore types, values, and reprocessing skills. Again, I'll link the video down below, but that's a very useful spreadsheet to use in terms of understanding which ones you're targeting, which ones you're going for. And now it's linked to the API data, which means you don't have to put it in yourself. Here are the current prices for the various minerals. So hopefully that's helped a bit, and is in addition to. Hopefully that's helped a bit, and is in addition. Sorry. Hopefully that's helped a bit, and is in addition to the videos I've done on mining with the ventures. As you can see during this video, yeah, I've cut it a little bit here and there, but on the whole I've kept it. We have a full cargo of ore, and that's taken however long it took from the beginning of the video. I'll have to have a look when I go back and cut it together. And if I just go look at, I'm going to start my trip home. It estimates 3.5 million in terms of the value of my hold. In fact, I've ended up with a bit of Elspar scored. I'll live with that. I'm just going to go back and do
warp
things
drive
anyway.
active.
But you can see that's how I collected. That's how strip mining works, and that's how you can make money doing it. If you stayed this long, thank you very much for listening in on the videos. Thank you for your support, and I'll be very grateful. Likes, subscribes, you know, all the harassing things that YouTubers ask you to do, but it'd be really good because it really does help support and help grow this channel. Thanks a lot.